Hello guys, welcome to the WCHED ministry. And I'm going to share about Great Commandment and Great Commission. You see that Jesus came to meet the needs of the whole person. And you can understand that Jesus commands his followers to meet the needs of the whole person. Okay, before starting lesson, we are going to make a human continuum and arrange yourselves in a line. Okay, very exciting, right? And if your primary work is to care for the physical needs of people, you can stand on the right side in the room. And if your primary work is to care for the spiritual needs of the people, then stand left side. And if your primary work is between physical and spiritual, then also stand in the middle of the room. Let's keep going on. Usually, pastors and evangelists deal with spiritual matters, and vocational people with their physical job. And most people do not do a combination of physical and spiritual ministry. So we need to find what Jesus did. So Luke chapter 4, verse 16 to 21. Jesus came to minister to the whole person. At what point is Jesus' ministry, did Jesus' interaction take place? At what point? Yes, you're right. At the beginning of his public ministry. At the beginning of his public ministry. And after being camped in the wilderness for 40 days. And he took place in his hometown of Nazareth at the synagogue because there are lots of people and very crowded. And what is the significance of the timing of this declaration? Right. Jesus was stating his purpose or mission as well as defining the nature of his work. And why? Why Jesus came? To preach the gospel to the poor for the economical need and to proclaim release to captives and to give sight to the blind to physical. And Jesus came with concern for every area of our lives. His mission was to restore wholeness to a lost and broken world. He would address not only spiritual concerns, but physical, social, and emotional concerns as well. And Jesus commanded his followers to minister to the needs of the whole person. Questions are 4 questions. What do we learn from the use of the word or in chapter 10, verse 27, And what do we learn from the use of the word all in Matthew 28, 18 to 20? And what do 3 commands in these verses have in common? How are the 3 commands related to each other? Okay, first, the book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 27. We must love God with our hearts, soul, strength, and mind, and emotion, spiritual, physical, and intellect. And what about Matthew chapter 28? All authority belongs to Jesus, right? And all nations, all peoples are to be disciplined. And all Jesus thought is to be obeyed. So this is command with concern. we ought to help others do what we are doing in following Christ. And Jesus gave us a big promise, right? Jesus is with us always, always, even though when we fail. It's amazing, right? So what do the three commands in this verses have in common? All three commands are from, yes, God, from God, and are given with equal authority, equal authority. And how are the three commands related to each other? Yes, you're right. In obeying the commands of Christ to make disciples, we must teach love for God and our neighbor. And Jesus responds to the whole person. Jesus tells us that one more time. Jesus judges his followers for the way they respond to the needs of the whole person. Look at the Matthew chapter 25, verses 35 to 46. What is the basic of Jesus' judgment in these verses? Yes, Jesus based his judgment on how people responded to the needs of others. And what kinds of needs were met by those who are judged to be righteous? Needs, hunger, feeding, thirst, giving drink, and homelessness, provide shelter, and nakedness, the cloth, and sickness, care for, and imprisonment, visiting. So Jesus did not say, I was hungry and you preached to me. He didn't. I was thirsty and you preached to me. He didn't say. He expects his followers to respond to people according to their needs. Very important, according to their needs. Being responsive to the needs of others and obedient to both the Great Commandment and the Great Commission will take very, very great commitment. Right. Jesus sends out his disciples 2 times. Luke chapter 9 and chapter 10. Who did Jesus send out to do what? In Luke chapter 9, send out 12 to heal, preach, and cast out demons. And chapter 10, send out 72 followers, disciples, to heal and preach. And what should we do as Jesus' disciples today? Do the same thing, deal with the whole person. Do the same thing. Conclusion. If Jesus were to take his place on our human continuum, where would he choose to stand? Jesus, come here. Jesus, come here. Right side, left side, or to the middle? You already know that Jesus will go to the place. Right, where? Yes, he would have stood in the middle of the room, the middle, between physical and spiritual. What does teach us about the kind of ministry we should have? What does this teach us about the kind of ministry? We need to take your place with Jesus in the middle of this room and minister to people according to their needs. Your ministry should be holistic, integrative. Okay, reflection and prayer. When was the last time you led another person to faith in Christ? Answer yourself. When was the last time you helped a new believer begin on the road and the maturity? When was the last time you helped another person to become a disciple of Christ? When was the last time you helped to meet the neighbor's physical needs or problem? When was the last time you helped someone to grow in such a way that they can do for someone else what you have done for them? Community has evangelism. WCHED is a holistic ministry strategy that will enable you to bring balance to your ministry by being responsive to the needs of people in the communities you serve. This course of study is aimed at equipping people to minister to the whole need of individual and to be obedient to both the Great Commandment and Great Commission.